Okay, this is Ransom1690 back here with another video. And today I'm gonna talk about why believing in the supernatural, or just rather where you think it's real or not, well, really regardless of whatever you think, just why the whole thing or the whole concept is a waste of time. Now, I have been recently watching some videos about these stories, and apparently, supposedly, they're based off of true events where a family will move into like this fucking house and it'll turn out to be haunted or some shit like that. And then it's like shortly after that, all sorts of crazy crap will break loose, furniture start moving on their own, people start getting possessed, again, supposedly, and then they wind up, it always goes the same every single time, they wind up either having to fucking hire a damn exorcist because someone in the family winds up getting possessed, and then they get exercised, then everyone lives happily ever after. That's usually how it go, and I know when I used to be religious, I used to believe in all of that shit, but I'm not telling y'all not to believe in it. But again, I'm gonna tell y'all why this whole thing is a waste of time, and here is why. Because based on a lot of theories surrounding the topic, the majority of these hauntings or quote-unquote supernatural encounters, they usually happen after it's revealed that someone, maybe a not distant relative, maybe an immediate family, find out they was into some black magic type shit, playing with Ouija boards and fucking, doing tarot cards and all of that. Or the property turns out to have a history of just occult type stuff. Now, here is the thing, there is a large belief that by doing these type of things, you can contact spirits and, talk to the dead, talk to your long deceased relatives, this and that. And of course, different faiths believe different stuff. I don't know. I'm only familiar with the Christianity faith because that's how I was raised. But, they believe how it goes for them. They believe that there are no such things as ghosts or spirits, that, they're all demons and all of that shit, or what they call familiar spirits, stuff just to try to trick you so they can get in your head and possess you. That's what that side believes. And then you got some other religions that may believe that they're actually past spirits, dead spirits that passed along from the earth. But it doesn't fucking matter at the end of the day, because here is my thing. There is no reason for any of us to be concerned with like any of this bullshit, like these spiritual, just pretending, or not pretending, but let's just say that they do exist. It's like, okay, so what the fuck is communicating with these motherfuckers gonna do for us in this life right here? Because depending on your circumstances, gotta cross the road real quick. You know, depending on your life circumstances, you still gonna have to wake up in the morning. You still gonna fucking have to go to work. You still gonna have to pay bills, you know. So it's like all these little motherfuckers who be doing all this occult shit or playing with Ouija boards, guess what? You know, calling themselves dark witches or all of this shit. Well, guess what? These motherfuckers still gotta wake up and go to work too. You know, let them miss a rent payment. Well, check this out. Satan or Baal or fucking the demiurge, whatever the fuck you want to call these things, they ain't nothing compared to that landlord. You know, let a landlord show up to their house. Hey, you got my payment? Oh no? Then get your ass out. You and your little freaky ass spirits is going out on the street. You know, and that's what I'm talking about. None of this shit really even matters, because every time you hear about these little spooky stories about the supernatural, all you hear about is a bunch of bullshit that, oh, they're doing just stupid ass shit, oh, moving furniture or talking in your head, and not to say anything particularly useful, but mainly just on some bullshit, you know, or they're just, you know, just doing dumb shit or trying to frighten you or on some little Casper type shit. But it ain't nowhere where you hear that people who's come into contact with these supposed spirits, that their life is changing for the better, or they're becoming rich, or they're fucking, you know, being enlightened in a way where they can actually turn their life around and not have to stay in the situation that they're in. So it's like, it's a waste of time for me to even be concerned about that shit. And yeah, I know about the whole fucking religious side, the whole God shit. Like I talked about that in previous videos. And so, you know, I really want to get into that again, but this time, like, you know, I'm just focusing on this other bullshit, this occultic bullshit. So it's like, you will never see me playing with a fucking Ouija board. Well, you can't see my face anyway, because I don't show my face. But y'all get what I'm saying. You know, you will never see me playing with a Ouija board, and it's not because, oh, I'm terrified, this and that, and like, it's because it ain't nothing that none of that shit has to offer me where I can take it and utilize in my life that can get me out of the situation that I'm in. And it's like, here is the thing. To prove that what I'm saying is true, that all this shit is a waste of time, if this stuff, like for all the stuff, the things you hear about, all of this bullshit, how, oh, you can summon these powerful spirits, oh, you can summon Zozo, or you can summon Belial, or fucking Pazuzu, and all this bullshit, all these little powerful spirits that, oh, you better not mess with them because, oh, they can fuck you up. Well, guess what? If that's the case, then you would think they can do anything, including give you wealth or open doorways for you, or just like, you know, basically do things that can, again, really enlighten you and enrich your life. But it's like, if that's the case, and they could do that, then if they could, like, let's say, make you a millionaire or a multi-billionaire, then do you really think all of this stuff, especially this fucking Ouija board, do you really think things like that would be sold in toy stores at the back of the aisle for $5 a fucking board? No, you wouldn't. You wouldn't even find that type of shit out on the fucking racks, because the powers that be, and I'm talking about the elites, you know, the fucking government, they don't want the common folks rising up. They don't want us making it out of our little peasant position. But so if this stuff, like these occult objects, was able to really just get people out of poverty or turn their lives around to where they don't gotta work, just perpetually work for a bullshit system that's designed to enslave you, that you would not see that stuff on the racks. I'm telling y'all, you know. And that's my point. It's like, okay, let's say I go do this whole fucking Ouija board shit and I summon a spirit. I'm like, okay, is your ass gonna give me fucking wealth? Are you gonna open doorways for me to where I can excel and achieve with my artistic creativity, to where I can do something with it and make money off of it and be able to move out of my family's house and no longer have to live with stupid ass people? No? Then shut the fuck up. Get the fuck out my face. You know? And that's why I say this shit's a waste of time. Whether it's real, you believe it's real or not, it doesn't matter, because it's not going to change your life in any way. You know? And here's another thing to fucking think about. If these things were really so powerful, then why the fuck you need to summon them through a fucking board or through doing some goddamn chant or shit? Like, you would think they would just be able to materialize on their own without you having to do all these stupid ass rituals, looking like a fucking idiot to get in contact with them. And that's what I'm fucking talking about. That's why this whole thing is just stupid, you know. But I be watching these shows and it's like all this dumb shit, like, oh, they moved the furniture, or oh, they're making my son growl and walk up the wall and do all this buffoon ass bullshit. And just, it's like, okay, so that's all y'all can do is just make people act stupid? Like, come on now. But man, that's sort of what I wanted to get into. You know, it's a shorter video this time, but this is something I've been kind of thinking about. So y'all can tell me what y'all think about it, and I'll get back to y'all with another one real soon. So it's this thing, this particular case that I just remembered, where this dumbass attempted to do exactly what I was talking about. You know, where I guess he tried to sell his soul to a demon, and, like, you know, in exchange for riches and glory and all of that. So this is an older case. Like, this guy, he came up with a fucking contract where he would off two individuals, or, well, not two individuals, like that just happened to be the unfortunate way it played out. But the whole thing was how basically meant to be like a sacrifice. He was gonna just sacrifice people for this demon, whose name is, I guess, Lucifuge Rofokel. What a dumbass name, by the way. And in exchange for the services that was being provided to this demon, this demon would offer this guy riches, uh, in particularly in way of winning, like, you know, the lottery, the Mega Millions jackpot. And another part of the deal was supposed to be that he was not to be suspected or caught of any crime that he committed for, you know, doing these sacrifices. And he made a whole fucking, like, he actually wrote the thing out, and I got it up on screen, so I'm gonna read it real quick. So, agreement: for the mighty king Lucifuge Rofokel, I will perform a minimum of 6 sacrifices every 6 months. How cliche, right? It just had to be in sixes, huh? So I will perform a minimum of 6 sacrifices every 6 months for as long as I am free and physically capable. So already that's pretty stupid, because then, well, what happens when you're not physically capable because you're gonna get fucking old eventually? Then that pretty much voids the contract right there once you get too old to basically uphold your end of the deal. So, what is he sacrificing? Okay, so here's the rest of it. I will sacrifice only women because men, physically able-bodied men, will beat his ass. I will build, and that's another thing too, you know. Apparently, like, these demons they're supposed to supposedly give you strength. So it's like, hey, you have a lot of faith in this demon, so wouldn't it mean that it shouldn't matter what gender you go after? Like, hey, wouldn't this deal with this demon make you capable of going after an able-bodied, physically fit man? Right. Moving on. So, I will build a temple for you and do everything that I have promised. And for me, talking about this dumbass, I am to win the Mega Millions super jackpot and to receive fruitful rewards in return for the future sacrifices I make to you. The rewards could consist of wealth and power, and to never be suspected of any crimes by the police. And also that the police will never know of any crimes that I have done and that I will do. Signed by me, Daniel Hassan, because that's his name, and the king, Lucifuge Rofokel. Now, apparently, he signed his name in blood, and he was supposedly waiting for the king, Lucifuge, to sign its name, and he went out and off, because, again, stupid ass YouTube, I don't know if I can say the actual word, but he unalived 2, I think they were high school girls. And one of the deals was that he was to never be caught for his crimes and to never be suspected of any crimes by the police. Well, the very next day, police showed up at his fucking house and arrested his ass and took him in. So either Lucifuge Rofokel did not honor the contract, or the whole thing was bullshit from the start, because either they don't exist or the whole thing, regardless, it all proved to be a waste of time. And so this right here, y'all, is what I'm talking about. You know, you will get dumbasses who believe this stuff, who will go out and actually put it into action, and then it'll just come out as a farce, and they'll just be standing looking like idiots, like this motherfucker, like this dumbass guy. And this is what I'm talking about, you know. And the guy was serious, because he went out and did some of what he said he was gonna do. Fortunately, I almost messed up there, but fortunately for everyone else, he was not, I guess, permitted to follow through with the rest of his actions because he got caught the very next day and got carted off to fucking prison where he will spend the rest of his life. So I hope it was real worth it, and that's why this whole thing is bullshit. That's why I don't feed into any of this, because when I used to be religious or believe in all this shit, I would kind of feed into it a little bit, like, hey, not the whole sacrifice thing, but hey, maybe if you swear your allegiance to Satan, then then hey, maybe something good will happen in your life. And it's all just such horse shit, It is such bullshit. And so that's why, like, I just advocate, I promote the idea that whether it's real or not, to not even bother to feed into it, because you listen to stories like this and you listen to everything that I was talking about in the video with these hauntings and all these supposed activities, and nowhere do you hear that it's ever benefiting the individual in any way that actually enriches or their quality of life. It's always some bullshit going on where they're either turning into animals or growling, or just all this stupid ass shit, doing dumb ass shit that a person normally wouldn't do. And it's like, what the fuck is the point of all of this? Is what I'm trying to say. I'm not trying to sound like, oh, you shouldn't do this because it's evil, because me personally, I think it's bullshit regardless, so I'm not trying to come from a whole religious point of view, but I'm just trying to put the idea out there to just think logically exactly what the fuck is all this shit gonna do for you in the long run, because again, you still gonna have to wake up, you still gonna have to pay bills, you still gonna have to do all the mundane dumb shit that a normal person has to do. And this dumbass individual who decided to make this sacrifice and write this whole nonsense contract out, he found out firsthand that it's bullshit. This ain't did nothing for him other than wind him up in prison for the rest of his life. And so, man, that's all I'm just really saying. Just we really need to just think about this stuff logically. It's like, okay, is this gonna better my circumstance in any way? No? Then fuck it, But yeah, that's all I wanted to say, and I'm out. And another thing, like, I am aware about the whole conspiracy about, the celebrities who sold their soul to demons and all of this shit. Man, I'm telling y'all right now, that whole thing is just a publicity stunt. That shit ain't true, because here is another thing, like, all of these people who supposedly sold their soul to the devil, what is one thing they all have in common? They can either sing, or they can write poetry, or they have a talent that they were already able to monetize from the beginning to make money. When have you heard about a person who can't sing or can't write, or, selling their souls to the devil and being successful? Now, I know it's this one about this guitar singer, I forgot his fucking name, but supposedly he went to a crossroads in the wilderness and met the devil there and sold his soul to learn how to play the guitar better. And he got famous, apparently. And it's like there is no evidence to really back that up. It's just a fucking folk tale. So it's like, man, I don't know. Well, I do know this whole thing is stupid, you know. That's why this whole thing is stupid. And I think we just need to focus, instead of focusing on all of this bullshit, we just need to focus on the reality of things and how we can do right here, in what we can do right here in this reality to make our lives better, you know. And that's pretty much it. So, yeah.